one minute, honestly, I wanted to be saved, and then the next minute, I wanted to party, be out in the street, and doing what I wanted to do. I wanted my family and friends to think that I was living a good Christian life, but when I wasn't around them, I was out there doing whatever I wanted to do, you know, just not living a good Christian life, and thinking that nobody knew what I was doing. But to me, I was happy, you know, I was fine, you know, I didn't have no issues. And I went to church one day. I went to a revival one day, and this guy called me up, and he told me that I had to choose that day who I was gonna serve. He said, "You're gonna choose God." He says, "It's gonna be heaven or hell to make a choice because you had a calling on your life." And that day is what changed my life. And I just stopped everything. The next month is when I got an email on social media from my soon-to-be ex-husband, who was like, you know, we went to high school together, and yeah, so I knew him all in high school, and he said, you know, this is such and such, and you know, I'm a totally different person, and I would like, you know, just saying hi, and maybe we could get together. And that's when everything changed for me. I feel like there were obstacles because it was my third marriage. In being this, so it was my third marriage. You know, I didn't want to feel like a complete failure, and I was worried about how people was gonna look at me like, so I felt like I had to make this one work. Like it just had to work. Then he started, you know, having affairs, sleeping out, and in my 50s, I had never encountered contracting STDs or anything, and he decided he was going to bring that home to me. I confronted him about it. I went to the doctor. I was treated for it. He was treated for it. I wanted peace. I just wanted a peace of mind. I wanted to be free. I just felt like I was trapped. And then I started searching for a closer relationship with God because I knew that was my way out. To me, I wasn't free because I was still around the same environment. I just needed to get away. So eventually my son, who lived in St. Louis, he told me, he said, "Mom, why don't you come out here and just start all over?" Because I was in Louisiana. And that Wednesday, we talked that Wednesday. I went out there that Friday, put in an application online that Saturday. The people called me that Tuesday, interviewed me that Wednesday, and hired me that following Friday, and that next week I started. And it happened that fast. And I put all my stuff in storage and I left. And then I really felt free. And then even when I was moving, I just felt like a big relief when I crossed when I left and crossed the state line, I just felt like a burden was just like lifted off of me. I can't even explain that, but I just felt so light, so light. I cried all the way there almost. That's how light I felt. And then I changed my number, didn't talk to nobody for months. And my daughter started calling me because I gave only my kids my number. And I told them, if you give it to anybody, I will not talk to you. And my daughter called me and she said, "Mama, please call T. Cynthia because she's worried." And I was like, "No, I ain't ready to talk to nobody." And so she called me every week. So it took me like 2 months to even interact with anybody. I started learning that I made a whole lot of decisions wrong decisions, not just listening to myself, but listening to other people that were supposedly in the church, and that I had to really, really only listen to God. I learned that I had to build a relationship with God for myself, and that's what I worked on.
What did you learn about God that you didn't know when you were
that he never left me. He never left me. He was always there the whole time. He never left me. That was it. It changed everything. It's hard for me to trust anybody. And my circle is so small. If anybody notices who's around me, my phone don't ring. They haven't heard it ring at all. It does not ring. Unless my kids call me, period. And I realized that your family is not always your immediate family. I have siblings and cousins and stuff I have not talked to in years at all. I'm talking like when I moved from Louisiana like 6 years ago, I haven't spoken to them since, period. But I have friends like Prophetess Carol that I talk to. That's it. So I've learned that I want in my life who God wants in my life. And that's important because He's gonna put people in your life that you need. Not what you want, but who you really need. I am not the same person. Oh, before I moved, you really couldn't tell me anything. Most of the time I was right. I always had a wall up. I wouldn't hear you too well, you know. But now, I understand a whole lot better. And I think it's because of what I went through. I couldn't take criticism very well. And now I could take it a whole lot better. Like you could come to me and you could tell me the things I'm doing wrong and I'm okay with it now. Before you couldn't do that. But I want to know what I'm doing wrong now. Before I couldn't take it. And I think that's why my relationship even with my kids are so much better, because they could come to me now and talk to me about, you know, the things that happen, you know. And I can apologize and talk to them about it now because I failed in so many ways. And I could tell them how sorry I am. It has been more than graceful to me because I put myself in some very, very bad situations. And if it wasn't for His grace, I really don't know where I would be. I really played Russian roulette with my life a lot of times. But if you only get me out of this situation, God, I won't do it again. You know, I've been out with co-workers when I lived in New Orleans, and after work we'd go out and we'd party all night and meet somebody and go home with them, you know, not even knowing who they were. Waking up like, how did I get here? That was only God's grace that got me out of that, because truly I didn't know who these people were. I was engaged one time to a young lady, and the pastor called me up, and he told me that God was giving me a chance. He said, heaven or hell. That was grace. I went home. I said, look, I can't do this anymore. Well, we fought from the front to the back. It was about an hour fight. I was so tired fighting this young lady. That was grace. Because I was like, this enemy, it's like the enemy did not want to let me go.
What do you
To help other, not just women, but anybody who struggle in abusive marriage, and it don't have to be physical. It could be emotional abuse. It's far more traumatizing to me than abuse, physical abuse. But anybody who deal with emotional abuse, homosexuality, know that you could be delivered from that. People think that you're just stuck and you're not. God can deliver anybody.